Welcome to In the Room, where we explore the elusive world of casting for film, TV, and commercials. Join us as we interview directors, writers, producers, and actors, taking a deep dive into their experiences with casting and how the ultimate decisions are made in bringing a story to the screen. Get an inside look at casting and find out what really goes on in the room.
Oh God, Scotty Jaggs, great name for a porn star. You're the best actor I ever coached, and I just don't want to see you wasted.
I mean, if I'm gonna make it, I can make it here.
Dick Nacho's agency. This is Dick Nacho speaking.
Taylor left me.
Man, you've told me you loved 5 girls this year. You can't love 5 girls in 1 year. It's impossible.
Pretty sure I loved her. You didn't love her.
I mean, I cannot choose the lightning that strikes me.
Word on the street is Moses Duval is headed to town to shoot his new feature film.
What you need to do is you need to be ready. You need to stay sharp, stay in shape, stay sharp, because it can happen at any time. Okay, keep working out. Your web series got canceled.
Straighten your arms like this. Breathe.
It's a confidence pose.
Can I buy you a coffee?
Why?
If not, I'm gonna be sitting over there disturbed, thinking this girl thinks I'm an idiot.
I'm fine.
I don't know if you realize, but every time you meet a new chick, you come over here saying, I'm gonna marry this girl.
My sister's coming in town soon.
She's your twin, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, identical?
Yeah.
Think if you're, fantasizing about her sister, thinking about her sister, but you're sleeping with her girlfriend and you're looking at her girlfriend, you're fantasizing about the sister. I mean, one day you're into this girl, one day you're into this girl. Why? It's bizarre. It's beautiful.
I don't know.
Go in there and live the character's life from your heart and don't care. Don't care about results.
So, how much money can you make acting?
A lot. Like millions.
How much money did you make last year? Like 20 grand, 30 grand?
No, last year I made like $1,200. You got any work for me, man? You got anything coming in?
Nothing coming in yet, man.
You want to do me a huge favor?
Sure, anything, yeah.
You see that towel over there?
Yeah.
You put it over there.
It's out.
My name's John Williams. I'm a casting director. And today, this is a bio brought to me by you, so it should be accurate. A lot of times I rip it off the internet and it's not accurate.
It's not accurate at all, yeah.
Yeah. Like I had Austin Amelia and he's like, no, I never did that.
That's awesome.
So I have the Holden
We
Brothers.
made all this stuff up too.
The Holden Brothers are writing, directing, producing partners. Josh and Nick Holden started their production company, Mishnoon, in Austin, Texas in 2008. They cut their teeth on a lot of music docs and music videos in the outlaw country music scene with the likes of Willie Nelson, Bonnie Raitt, Kris Kristofferson, and others. It's a good list. This led to filming B-roll for the making of the 2009 Crazy Heart soundtrack. Awesome. They have made well over 100 commercials and videos with their company. While filming, they were always writing songs and in and out of bands while also participating in the Austin indie film scene with the likes of Richard Linklater, Andrew Bujaski, among others. They have made a practice of writing daily for almost 15 years, which totally shows your writing's fucking phenomenal. Trying to get their love of character and philosophy and the oddness of life to blend with structure and narrative while honing their unique voice, style, and tone. They had a web series premiere at South by Southwest, and their first feature film, shot on a shoestring budget, played various festivals in 2016, which is the Golden Rut, which we'll talk about, which you can't tell it's shot on a shoestring.
Oh, wow.
Looks really good. Yeah, I mean, it had... big. It didn't feel like I was like, this doesn't feel, Originally born in Los Angeles, the brothers were raised in Louisiana and moved to Austin, Texas for college in the early 2000s, where they have remained ever since. Nick still enjoys philosophy and literature, which he studied in college, especially when it can be weaved into film. And that's where I think a lot of the interesting writing comes from, which is really good. He lives in Austin with his wife and 2 kids. Josh graduated from the University of Texas with a degree of radio, television, and film. He lives in Austin with his wife and 2-year-old son. All accurate.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So tell us how it started. How'd you guys get into this? Were you kids? Did you guys make stuff or like?
We not as much when we were kids. I mean, we made like music videos.
Okay.
Like when we were younger.
Yeah.
But we weren't
shooting them. Or?
Yeah, shooting. I mean,
We had a camcorder, so we filmed some. We did starting in high school, I did start bringing the camcorder around all the parties and stuff. And we'd film a little bit, but we were just, it was
Mostly
never
debauchery. I mean, it was not like,
it was in Louisiana, and it was just filming these kind of
before
parties.
internet, right?
Yes.
Before internet.
So people they weren't scared.
No, we'd have to rewatch them. And we were just.
But now maybe some of these people are senators. Or,
Right.
No, I
So-
found like a bunch of them
Yeah.
the other day, and I like sent them to some friends, and everyone was like, "Let's delete all of this. Like, just get rid of all
Here's
of
a
it."
check. Just get rid of
And
it.
you know,
We're such
Louisiana,
idiots.
we were definitely drinking young. You know,
Yeah.
The age was 18. I got to high school. The age had been 18, and then they bumped it to 21. But everyone in high school was. Just
we used to make we'd make our drive.
Oh, you go.
what?
right
Yeah.
across the line.
yeah.
So-
I grew up in Houston, so
Yeah.
we'd always roll into your guys' town at 3 a.m.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
After drinking all night.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was a wild. So yeah, those videos were us just kind of partying.
Kind of jackass style stuff. Yeah.
We had a friend who did like a great Chris Farley, spot on impersonation, and then we would come up with little sayings or do little like songs or. So we'd just do these long, but it was just for memories.
Yeah, for sure. Did you guys cut them or like edit
Just left them long,
Yeah, just
long
raw.
gone.
Yeah.
And when would you guys watch them?
Just like playing it back.
We'd bring them over and all
Yeah,
sit
yeah,
around.
We all
and
sit
watch
around
them.
and watch.
And,
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
fun.
It was some great stuff.
I feel like the first time we started to take it serious, we were like maybe 21 or 22, and we went to Hawaii for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And we had been studying acting at that point. Like we moved here when we were 18.
Okay.
We started studying acting.
And you studied with what's his name?
We
in
stayed
Golden-
with Marco.
With Marco, yeah.
We stayed with Marco for like 6 years.
Yeah. I love Marco.
He's the
great.
best.
He's great.
His class was so much fun. It's so much fun too.
Yeah.
And then we studied with Dana Wheeler for
Okay.
a long time, and that was some really profound stuff. But we went to Hawaii and we made a movie on a camcorder about our lost dog that we like Sammy. So we went around the islands like looking for this dog, and we'd like just film this narrative, and we'd make it up and improv it as we go. And it ended up being like an hour long.
And you guys were full, like kind of pranking people as well and getting real reactions.
But using it as a way to like start a conversation about like what is a lost dog? Are they really lost? Are they really returning home? Like, kind of things like that.
Yeah.
So we just went around the island and got to like just filming all these cool spots.
Just a good way to interact with characters and show the visuals of Hawaii and like funny stuff. But it was really just, we would like, people would probably know we were joking because we were filming, but it was a way to capture all these characters, and it was a lot of fun.
Which we recently just did. We still do it. Like for our latest film, Sellout, we were just in Louisiana, and it's just us two for 4 days go and shoot. Like we're just going to shoot exteriors, but we end up shooting all of these scenes with Nick acting, and then we're like improvising with like locals, and like he's like, this is my fiance and it's the girl from the movie, and we're like trying to engage them as like actors too, just to see if it'll work, and sometimes it does.
Yeah.
That's some great stuff. People are if there's a way in, because we did our commercial stuff for a while where we had to work with a lot of non-actors.
Yeah.
So we were all, but if there's getting non-actors is a lot of fun too. It's the blend though. It's because we love actors too.
Yeah. But then we also like, I feel like when we go shoot those scenes with non-actors, a lot of times those don't work, but we pull so much inspiration from those scenes. We're like, oh my God, that was so good. That like that line.
Well, there's a moment,
yeah.
And it's
like
always
so
just being
real.
creative and adding to the bucket, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
So some of the early on testing we did, we filmed scenes in Louisiana that we actually rewrote and then casted the people and reshot the scenes with actors
who played those people.
Yeah,
Like a barista that we had like a conversation about.
Yeah.
What does it mean to sell out today? Is it survival? Is it selling out? So it's
So when you guys are writing, to skip ahead a little bit, when you're writing, are you drawing from these moments?
We had already written the script. Sell out. I think our process in a lot of ways is to write it, and then like for this one, we went and shot a proof of concept, and then we're like, okay, even as we're shooting that, we're finding the deeper meanings of what we wrote in the reflection of ourselves, and then when we go shoot the movie, we're still doing it too. Like
He's
we're still
supposed to be the
finding,
philosopher,
huh? Yeah.
He read all the philosophy books I gave.
No, that's right. We just discussed
We're
philosophy all the
competitive
time.
in that way where I'd read the philosophy, but then he'd read it right away. So he didn't study it, and I just got like like a liberal arts. But no, he read a lot of the same stuff, so he's into it as much as me.
Man, the writing is so good.
Yeah,
It's just like little layers upon layers of like, I mean, the coffee enema. It was just like so many things.
That's just a true story.
I know, but like so many things, but it's subtle. You know what I mean? It's like it's not the big joke. It's like it's just sort of like you have a little throwaway here, and you have a joke over here, and then it's like you guys built that world so great. So when you guys were writing, did you? Because I mean, I recognized everybody in it. Were you okay, am I going to utilize these people, or were you like writing and then you went cast, or how did you guys go about doing it?
We're thinking of them a lot of times.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're hoping we'll, like for this latest one, like we were thinking of Jimmy Gonzalez when we wrote the agent scene.
Yeah.
You know, we were thinking of Stephanie Hunt when we wrote the sister scene. Like thinking of them, but also pulling on other people as well, like you know, characters and stuff.
And
but,
being prepared that you won't get it. Because
like Jimmy's so busy, is he even going to come work with us anymore? You know, like he's so good.
No, Jimmy's awesome.
He's the best.
Yeah, we had him on here. He's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a mixture. So we always were good at coming up with like, we were always good at our short form content, like the 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So what happened was it took us so many years to really come to terms with structure. So we have this like structure that's really, we try to make sure is super tight. And then we've kind of tried to define that and be like, okay, these are the A story, B story, like what do we really, like where is this emotionally taking attacks on this guy? And then, so we can chart that out. And so we're always kind of rewriting as we knowing that's there and really tight and like, but we're just kind of rewriting as we even when we're shooting, we'll rewrite.
Still rewriting.
Yeah, we're still absolutely. Like at night, or just like after or in between scenes, we'll just jot some, try some
rewriting and overwriting.
Yeah.
We do
writing.
You know what I mean?
But also,
and how's that for your actors?
Like they have fun because like the way we film a lot of times is like we run the scene and then we'll just do some improv scenes too. And like a lot of times the improv's at the beginning and the end of the scene.
Yeah.
You know, like the button or whatever, you know. So, but it's a lot of memorization. I feel like Nick was really regretting a lot of that too as he was acting in this one. Because there's so many, our scenes are so long. You know, Like in this latest one, we would have these like really long scenes of dialogue.
That we knew we'd cut down, but I wanted to get them out there. But no, for the actors, so we also always have it so we know that some actors maybe won't improv. So
some people are super uncomfortable.
So we have it where it'll work. Like we know it'll work for the movie. But when we're there, especially some of these actors we love, we're like, hey, we're here, we've got a location. Let's try to run 2 cameras and let's like have fun. Let's exhaust it. So the ones that are down to keep going, we'll let them take it wherever, wherever they want to go or throw ideas.
And we'll mix, like if we have 10 takes, we'll end up going through and mixing like some from the first, some from the fifth, some from the 7th.
And do you find that it's far off from what you guys wrote typically? Or?
No, it's usually pretty close.
That's what I've noticed, right? I'll go through that same process with directors and it's like throw it away. Just play with it. It doesn't matter, right? And we do all this crazy stuff. Yeah. And they do all this crazy stuff on the day. And then I watch the movie and I'm like, that's the scene that was on the paper.
Right. It's always like very similar.
You know what it is? It makes it fun gives them inspiration to do the scene.
Yeah.
Like, and so whenever we rewrite too, it won't come back and be like, here's the scene memorized. It'll be like, hey, throw this line in there, like a suggestion. Like, can you throw this line in there? So it just like gives them something like, why am I doing this take again? Because Josh will always be like, all right, one more take. And it became a running joke. Everyone's like, that's not one more. Like we're gonna do 10 more. But so if like we could just throw one suggestion.
Well, each take gives another idea, right?
Yes.
Like, oh, that was a great moment. Let's expand on that.
Yes. Yeah. And we just like, because we studied acting for so long, we just love acting. And so we love like whenever we have a great actor in our presence, we're just like, let's just keep doing this.
Keep playing,
see where it's gonna go and then push it and see how far
it's a totally different perspective. I even think because I acted for a long time as a casting director, it's like it's a different perspective if you've lived those shoes, right? So talk about that, having go through acting first and then getting into like going through castings and then you guys are on the other side of it.
Yeah. Well, and then also we've gotten this class with Dana Wheeler. You know Dana?
Yeah.
Dana's like incredible. I mean, we started class with her when we were like 21.
What's her foundation?
22.
Is it like Meisner or is it what is it?
No, it's
do you
remember when?
Well, it's from the Actor Studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is all
but it's all dream work. You know,
Okay.
it's all like Jungian dream work type stuff. So we would all, sign into your dreams and work it through that process. You kind of have to have a coach.
Sort of
someone to guide you.
convincing your subconscious.
Yeah,
It's very
subconscious.
and it is all it's method, and they just so when you do all the sense memory and stuff, they just also try to incorporate some dreams and a lot of archetypes and like Greek mythology into it all.
Yeah.
So it's just a cool way.
I mean, I say yeah. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Greek mythology.
But
I mean,
we'll work with Dana because you can also use it for writing and directing.
Yeah.
We'll sign in to our dreams for directing the film.
Yeah.
Or for writing it. And then we'll have a lot of our actors ended up working with her too on their dreams. So then we would extract images and details from their dreams and incorporate them into the scenes.
You guys ever like mess around with transcendental meditation or any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah. We did. That's all part of her class too. Was a lot of meditation and
I haven't gotten into transcendental though, like because I know David Lynch does a lot of
No,
that.
yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
I would love to. I've been recently.
I went to a transcendental like introduction.
Yeah.
And it was it's the craziest.
Is it,
dude? I went to this little room off of like over by the Y, Oak Hill, right? And I go up to the stairs and I sit down. There's this old couple and there's a couple other people in there. Yeah. We go in and they're just doing this spiel, and I just hear chips, like poker chips.
Yeah,
it's right next door to like a underground poker thing, right?
Oh my God!
Everyone's like cussing and winning and all this stuff.
And y'all
and we're trying to do transcendental. I was like, dude, this is a David Lynch movie.
That is a David Lynch scene.
Yeah.
So wait, I've meditated daily for long, but transcendental, is that just chanting?
It's a different. So transcendental, I don't know the details, but it is like you have to go through I don't know if it's like 4 days or 4 months, some process,
and they give you your own sort of.
You have your own mantra.
Okay. I've done mantras and stuff, so I thought maybe I haven't done it the right. I should go.
Not like technical transcendental.
Yeah, I think you can go. I mean, I probably shouldn't say. I think you can go online and find like. I think there's
like you went to a spot in town.
Yeah. It was random and it was interesting. So you guys are pulling ideas from fucking everywhere.
Wherever we can get them. We're like, let's go.
There's a bumper sticker. You're like, good idea.
Take that.
But our favorite, what we've had to work on, some of our favorite directors too, they have like a one-word theme.
Yeah.
So that's where we try to like, that was our...
Well, that's what I say with Golden Rut.
Right.
I mean, there was always a through line. There was always...
Yes.
You guys... What I love about that, man, because the title is just so fucking perfect. It's like, it is. You're just in this rut of like, is it ever going to happen?
I know.
I remember someone told me one time, they're like, I said, I was in like Orange County and it was late and we were partying and they're like, I said, I'm an actor. And they go, oh, what restaurant do you work in?
Yeah.
I was like, motherfucker. I go,
motherfucker.
I've been making consistent money as an actor for 5 years now, and I've worked my ass off. I just went off on this.
Wow, good for you.
But it was that like, I have to prove myself always.
Yeah.
You don't know how much rejection we've taken. You don't know how much like I have to wake up every day and go, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
I know. And it's so hard.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard. It's the most vulnerable job.
But it is and it isn't, right?
Yes, yeah,
it's like, it's the golden rut.
Right.
It's like,
It's so
like,
fun.
Shut the fuck up.
I know. It's not.
It's so fun.
Exactly.
It's such a like pinch. It's so fun.
It's like, you poor baby. You had to go play make-believe.
I know.
Right.
I know. It's so fun.
But I thought and it was crazy too, because you guys nailed the Austin scene specifically.
Oh, thanks.
But it mirrors what you go through in LA and New York and all these other places.
Yeah,
right?
and it was very much just like about, like how much opportunity is there really as an actor, in Austin?
That's what's so great.
Yeah.
It wasn't go to LA, it was like, go to New Orleans.
Yeah,
go
not
to
LA.
Atlanta.
You got to go to New Orleans or Atlanta.
Like, nobody, unless you're in Austin, I think
would understand
that.
Right? But
like,
that's the thing about
why would you go to New Orleans over fucking LA?
That's the thing about the Golden Rut. We made it and we were like, this is very much for a small audience.
Yeah.
And it's people who are probably like actors in Austin, because it was like, for us, it was like $45,000. It was like, we just got to make a feature that we can kind of like, build our craft and work on that.
But it was a theme that everybody kind of got that we're here, that we're acting in it too as well. But I think it goes past. I think
you think so?
Yeah, because I related to it from LA.
And you're from LA. Yeah.
Well, it's that theme of desperation. Like you want something so bad, and you it's that walking that line of like, where should I do something to make this happen, and where do I need to just kind of surrender a little bit and be like, yeah, maybe I need to just let this one go. How far do you push? I love that.
Oh man, and you're told like, like you're told to push as far as like, you know, the story. I was in my car, I was homeless, and and then I got the part, or I took care, I wrote the check, and it was down to my last penny. So you think as an actor, you're like, the worse it gets, you're like, the closer you get.
I know. And there is something, I mean, I know you have to take big risks. It's hard. It's like,
it is hard.
It's almost like you got to do your own journey. We're lucky to have each other, but like, yeah, like, you know, for this movie, it's just been tons of risking stuff and putting stuff on the line and, you know, focusing and saying no to other stuff and stressful. But it's like, so that feels good though, to be able to take a risk like that and be like, you know, I think with, you know, if you do want great rewards, you have to take great risks. But yes, there's, you know, also lots of people that risk stuff and it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So it's
no, I mean, that's what like Scoot McNair was saying. He was like, man, he goes, I just keep working because, you know, there's a lot of guys that are like, where'd he go?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, this game is hard to stay in and survive, you know?
So hard. I just try to enjoy it right while it's working out. But
I saw something on the internet that was my go-to now, which is enjoying the passage of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, there was this
enjoy the because all I got.
Yeah. Right? And also like, you know, even just like as we get older and like it's, you know, it's just so it can be very challenging to even get a film made. You know, it's so hard to raise money. It's so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like every day on set, I'm just smiling ear to ear because I'm like, even things are falling apart now. I'm like, I can't believe we're making a movie. Like I'm in heaven right now. This is insane. And then also like after our first film, I just realized I was like, oh my God, I have trouble judging other movies now because I'm like, all of the elements that it takes to even make a decent film is so hard, much less I can't even imagine a masterpiece. You know what I mean? But like even anything to just make a film and complete it.
Yeah.
I have like respect for
100%.
that, you know?
I say all the time, I'm like, if you just haven't made it, it's like, I'm like, dude, congratulations.
Yeah,
it's so hard.
Right.
I remember we were doing Aged Out in Waco, and one of the PAs was telling a story about The Reverend because it just came out. He was like, it's okay. And I was like, dude,
did you know?
I was like, they almost killed themselves in this movie.
Right.
I go, and they only shot during like magic hour.
Right.
And your review was, I go, what do you think they're going to say about this movie? Like, what do you think?
Right?
Like, dude, like, give it some respect.
I know.
Like these guys, like it's literally like they almost killed themselves to make this movie.
Yeah.
And you make movies, and your response was,
it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's like, dude,
oh my God.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what though? There was this. So when we did get to go do the behind the scenes of the Crazy Heart soundtrack, it was a crazy story. But it was he was kind of like an uncle. He had known us since we were kids. He was our parents' best friend, and he was doing the Crazy Heart soundtrack, and he was battling cancer at the same time. And he had been in Kristofferson's band for 30 years. Bonnie Raitt, played with all these great people. But we were with him in LA, and I think it was like, I don't know where, but he was like, I was like, I gotta wonder, like, sometimes am I even, like, did I make the right decision with my life? Like, should I be doing this? Like, was I meant to be a musician? And he ended up passing away a few months later. And then Crazy Heart almost went straight to DVD. And then it like made a little, like someone saw about it. They started putting out, started winning awards. But then ultimately they won the Grammy for best soundtrack.
Okay.
And they thanked him, like him and, he got thanked at the, and I was like, man, it was just always kind of a reminder of like, I mean, he was questioning like, should I be an artist? And he's winning, winning big. And so it was like,
I mean, and also too, it's like, well, this is a choice we made. So
yeah, right.
This is where we're at.
During this film, I called up this one guy that was friends with him, and he's like, he was a locations guy, and he's, I think he's like in the Oscar or in the Academy he's one of the few, like he's been doing locations forever. And it's like, man, this is so tough. Like, or like, we're trying to raise the money. And, I'm like, do I want to do this with my life? And he was like, I remember on my second movie, I sat there and I was like, do I want to do this with my life? And he's like, yeah, I do, and he's like, I guess I do. And he's like, so then I said, yeah, I do. And he kept going, and he had a good career.
Yeah.
So there is that.
I mean, that was the cool thing about the Golden Rut. You're kind of like, you're dedicated.
Oh yeah.
Dedication.
Yeah. And that's
you're gonna do it.
That's the thing. Like when he shows up at the house in character of a developmentally disabled character, you're like a person. But I was like, we're gonna get canceled here. But it's not to make fun of it. And anyway, it's really just to show this guy's desperation as an actor.
I was worried watching. I was like,
yeah, it's nerve wracking.
But you pulled it off.
Oh, thanks.
I thought you did a great. I was like, because if it wasn't been spot on,
it could have been bad.
It could have been bad.
I know. No,
and it's funny that movie, and we were kind of discovering, but it's a lot about.
Which I'm afraid now we'll get canceled because we talked about it.
Right, it probably will be.
but part of that movie is about is like my character is so upset with him because he's so because of his insensitivity, you know. So that movie, in a lot of ways, is about, hey man, like he doesn't even know what he's doing wrong, and it's
I know.
Yeah,
a ton of actors like him that have no idea that they're so selfish and self-centered.
And then having like the relationship through line where just like everyone in our 20s in Austin, it's like you know, everyone was dating so many people, and like you don't know whether you want the crazy person or like the really super stable person, and like you want the fire as an actor.
Even the point where you're like, yeah, you'll just move to New Orleans with me.
Right,
You'll just up your whole life and move with me and be broke in New Orleans. Like you're so like, you know, that's so typical of a dude and of an actor to be like, you know. Okay, so you guys, you're filming stuff, you're not editing, you're doing fun stuff. So you guys get into acting, you're here.
We were always big into movies though. We were watching a lot of movies. Because we saw we would go, I mean, we saw like Batman when we were 5 in the movie theater. You know what I mean? Like Tim Burton stuff.
Yeah.
So like all those movies, we would go to the movie theater a lot.
Our mom was an actress. When she had us out in LA, and then when I was 2 and he was 18 months, or he was 6 months, she moved back to Louisiana. So our whole life, she's just complaining about, she gave up her acting career to come raise us in Louisiana by her parents and to be around family.
Right.
So
and then you guys are like, hey mom, we're going to be actors.
Yeah. She was pretty stoked actually. 'Cause she really wanted to get out of Louisiana again.
Yeah.
And so
have you guys put her in stuff? Or?
Oh, she's in this movie. Sellout.
Okay.
She's in the new movie.
Yeah. We put her in a short film once called Vic Siggs, and she did great. She's actually a great actress.
Okay.
She's good. Her grandparents were all Lebanese Syrian, so they spoke like this broken English.
What part of LA were you guys born in?
Manhattan Beach.
Manhattan Beach. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was thinking more like you'd be out like Burbank area.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Is there a Lebanese community out?
No, she was just moved out there.
She's from Louisiana. She moved out there.
Okay.
But she had this, so she spoke this broken English and this very Southern accent. Yeah. So her as in the 80s in LA, I'm sure there were no roles for her. You know, she just
Roadhouse. I mean,
Roadhouse.
Is there a broken English Southern character?
Why not? If that should be.
But she is good. She just her diction and stuff. She's worked on it. But we had to kind of drop our accent when we moved. Marco was very hard on us. He's like, you can't say y'all. You know, you can't.
Because you guys had like a weird Lebanese, but with Louisiana too, which is very strange.
Yeah.
Which is good to be able to do it authentically, right?
Right.
Everyone. That's a really hard one to do.
Well, and then like in the Golden Rut, I was like, okay, I can't talk like that. So then I almost went like full New York segment somewhat. I was like, I'm not even from New York. I just, kind of like trying to not talk.
You guys have done good. You can't tell now. So you guys are acting, but is the directing thing come out of like necessity or come out of like
no, because I went to film school, and then I was, directing a lot of like shorts and stuff like that. And then we just wanted to kind of make our own content because we were auditioning for a lot of stuff and we weren't getting anything.
And you were seeing stuff being put online probably at this point. And you're seeing that there is some, if you have
web series were starting to be big.
Yeah.
We're just starting to come.
So. But we weren't either we weren't getting any roles, or the roles we were getting were not that great. Yeah. So we were like, start writing our own stuff.
2007, 2008 too, it wasn't that, it is like it is now. There wasn't that much work here. It was like a lot of industrial stuff.
It was pretty dead.
Yeah, I got here like 2008. Yeah. I moved back to Texas because I'm from Houston originally, and I grew up here in Houston, and I moved back, and it was like, and I came back and I just started kind of acting,
Yeah.
And I was like, I was going to do anything. It was 2008. There was no work.
Right. There was nothing to do.
Yeah. There was no, you couldn't get a job.
Downtown was empty. It was like,
And so it was all industrials, you know? And then one day, the guy, I came in, I had like 20 pages of medical dialogue, and you're going to do it off a teleprompter, but you're memorizing, right? For the audition. Right. And the guy was like, oh, that's great. Can you do this other one? And he handed me a bunch of other pages.
Yeah.
And it was all it was like I worked on it for 9 hours just to be able to pronounce it right. And I just looked at him, I said, I'm done.
Good for you.
I go, I'm done.
Good for you.
And I go, did you think I just like shoved this into my head?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And I'm done.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You know what we got? We got to be featured extras on Linklater's movie. And we loved Days Confused in high school.
Yeah.
But we got to go and hang out on that set, and that was a start. We got to be around. That was a thing. Like in Louisiana, you weren't really around a bunch of people doing
music stuff or do, but like
where were you guys?
Lafayette.
Lafayette. Yeah.
So there is some really cool musicians there, and there's a cooler scene now. But to come here and be on set, and then there's this cool indie scene. They were all having their movies at South by, and we got to be a part of a lot of those and like be in them or be around the set or do the B-roll. Yeah. So there was this thing of like, oh, you can write your own stuff, and we were musicians first, so we wrote a lot of music. I was writing a lot of songs. So like the first movie, I just kind of kept going with this song, and then studying literature, and then we just would write together, and have written so many scripts that we just write them. And that would be the problem. They would have like 1,000 ideas.
Right.
We'd have to trash them.
We have just trashing scripts. I feel like
I feel like you guys are pretty well disciplined. I mean, from what I saw of Sellout, what I saw of the Golden Rut, I feel like it's you guys have that's the thing I was the most impressed with was just the writing.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I mean, we I guess it was like, I mean, it's hard to get all these people to come do an indie film. I guess, and we did a lot. We used to do a lot of script readings with all our actor friends, and they'd be like, it'd kind of fall apart, and so we'd go back, and we kind of realized, whenever you do it, you need to have a script that people believe in. It's just been it's almost surreal that people are liking our scripts now because we got so used to
people not liking it.
I mean, not so liking
much rejection. There's a tone, there's a style to it for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like there's a through line between Sellout and Golden Rut as far as like the style and the tone. And,
It's just been us trying to figure out what our tone is for 15 years. And like, I think once we got out of school and stuff like that, like once we started writing, we were like, we were probably like 20, 21, we started writing our first feature. But like after that, I feel like our passion for acting, for us acting, just kind of went away, and we just wanted to write and direct all the time. So that's when we just started watching a movie a day and studying directors and studying genres and studying all that stuff. And then when it came to like the Golden Rut, it was like, all right, we don't have any money. Like we can't get a guy to be the lead in this every day. So like, I'll just do it. And then it was like, we made it. And then like, Nick's a way better actor than I am. So with Sellout, it was like, all right, you be the lead in this one. I'm better.
I thought that was an interesting choice. That now you're like, I don't want to do that.
No.
He's great. Like his visuals, he's so visually talented. That was the other thing. I was like, we need you behind the camera because... and no, he's just as good of an act. I mean, it was just the role.
You guys both were great.
It was
both great.
I mean, we studied a while. Marco, I'll never forget the first like year of acting. Marco looked at us, was like, I did a scene. He was like, Nick, I've seen more emotion in a log floating down a river than that's like. He was so
we would get that
hard on us.
We basically like when we showed up to Austin, we had like lost our minds so much on just drugs and alcohol for so long that like we didn't even know how to emote. You know what I mean? It was like we were just so like just trying to open up, and acting was such therapy for us for so many years. It was like us just like rediscovering who we are, and getting to like learn about self-expression. So we were so bad. I mean,
they don't promote in the South. They don't promote men to express themselves.
No.
And
here's a beer.
We were I think that is the one thing we both loved doing it and had fun doing it. It was like a bonding way to bond. And because we definitely did not, we started out with, there wasn't a lot of like things to like encourage you to keep. I mean, I guess there was a few, but it's a lot of just staying with it and persistence. That's been where
no one's saying, hey, great job, guys. Keep it going.
No, nobody.
They're like, oh God, they sent me that script.
I know. Again.
Yeah. But I gotta go to Nick's house and watch this thing he cut together. Oh,
no, I remember when our aunt watched aunt watched the Hawaii movie, and I think she was a little hungover, but she was just like not enjoying it at all. But other people we got little moments.
There was moments, but no.
But
but you had each other.
We did, and we also like.
And you said you're great.
You're doing good. No, I think it was just for us. We grew up in Louisiana, and it was like it's just such colorful people. It's like in the Cajun heartland.
It's my favorite. One of my favorite places to cast is New Orleans.
It's so much fun.
I know.
And it's one of the worst places to cast.
Yes,
it's the hardest place to cast because it's just it's a mess, right? But it's like the people are amazing.
It's amazing. They're amazing, and like so like it's we grew up around all of that and such colorful people, and then our family was all Lebanese, tied in with like the New Orleans mafia and like all this stuff. So it's like when we came to Austin, we just start telling stories about our lives, and people would be like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's not normal.
Well, most Texans know that you guys are fucking crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we're well aware of how crazy people from Louisiana are.
That is the thing. I think as we always knew.
My wife is shocked when I tell her stories. She's just like, you killed
I
an
think that is the
alligator?
thing. When we start telling stories about our childhood and the Lebanese, they're like, that has to be a movie.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, the only problem is that would cost a lot of money to. So we've almost had to learn, and it's probably a blessing, but we had to learn how to write these like super shoestring budget like movies that we could make. Because sometimes like
I never felt watching the Golden Rut.
Right.
It didn't, and I've watched a ton of shoestring
Okay,
budget
cool.
movies,
Yeah,
right? Because it's the world that I'm. People they come to me, they're like, I made this thing, and this is my next feature.
Yeah.
And you cast it, and I'm like, well, what have you done?
Yeah.
So I've watched a ton of stuff, but I didn't feel once. And you guys said 45K.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that at all, like at all.
Well, and
I never thought to myself like,
this is they're missing stuff.
they're missing stuff. Like I never was thrown out of it. Or
Well, I think the reason was because we did so many scripts that we were like, this one we can really pull off, and it won't feel like we can knock this script out of the park with no money.
Yeah.
And so it took a long time to go through ideas.
I also feel like Nick was smart in that he's the one who said, I was like, basically we're killing ourselves. We have 30 locations.
Yeah.
But Nick's like, we have to do that because that's what's going to make it feel big.
It is. It's
And
smart.
he was right
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, you're totally right about that.
Even though, like, even with Sellout, I mean, we have like 40 actors and I don't know how many locations. Like, literally, I have no clue.
I was wondering, I was like, how'd you guys get Patika? Did you
And
know
it's-
them?
I didn't,
Yeah.
But it's crazy because, like, when you're making them, it's so much fun to write. But whenever you're actually making the movie and you're sitting there trying to schedule all these actors at different times and all these locations, you're like, we are shooting ourselves in the foot here. But then it's so much fun to like watch it come together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that is I think that's what we've been lucky to these films. Like, it is the characters and the locations and the colors and like that does make it feel hopeful.
But it's hard because we can't be too precious about anything in some ways. And like there's never really the time for us. It's like P.T. Anderson is like one of our big heroes growing up together. It's like a mutual hero we loved. And like we would used to plan shots like that and all those things. And then we were like, you know what? Like we're not there yet. Like we have to just we have to focus on character.
But you still can be influenced by that with the world that you can live in.
Yeah.
Which I think you can, I think it adds value for sure. Yeah.
I think that's the thing. We always knew we're like, we had this like, and we can't put it in words, but this shared like vision of what the movies we want to make. So that's what also has kept us. It's like, we know we can do these.
Right.
We need to kind of do these to get there, but these also need to be unbelievably, we need to put everything we can into these. These need to be our best. Like we can't just.
So having more money on this one, did you guys notice a big difference? Was there a big, that's what amazes me when I've been on sets where it's like, someone who's just a legend, right?
Yeah.
And you're sitting there and you're like, I'm watching a legend,
Yeah.
right? And they do it and you're like, oh, this is the same thing that I
Right,
did.
right.
This is the same, like, it's just an actor. Like, I'm like, it's not in you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, I know it's so intimidating the first time you're working with like, actors who've done so much more than you.
And then you realize it's just an actor.
Well, you realize that, and you also realize like, oh, we have like the same interest here, and it's this character in this story. Let's just discuss that.
Yeah.
And like,
it's the same process.
it's the same
right?
process.
Yeah.
It's the same. Everyone has their own process, but I mean, you're right. It's the same process.
Yeah, there's people that are, definitely bring more to the table than others, but and I think some people are just like Steve Buscemi. I just feel like he's just lucky that he's so weird and interesting looking, right?
Yeah.
He can hold it.
Yes.
What was stressful was that I was the lead in this because we also wanted to be able to have the flexibility. So I'm like, all of a sudden we are getting some actors we don't know that are really good, and like everyone's a really good actor. So that was just a little
For
more.
you,
And he hasn't acted in like 10 years.
I don't act anymore. I just like, man, I really.
Sometimes you feel like it's an old hat. You're just like, oh, and then you put it on. You're like, oh, I should be like practicing a little bit.
And
more.
I worked really hard on it. I worked with Dana, and
that's good.
We also did a 10-day character study just to kind of find our tone way early on. And then we showed that to a lot of people.
Filming everything.
And that was what got us all these people wanting to do the movie, but also everyone was like,
so you guys did like a sizzle and you showed it to people?
10 minutes.
It's kind of
sizzle.
a character piece.
So let's talk about the process for casting.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so you had a little bit more money. I don't have to say, but you had a little bit more money.
A little bit more.
Don't play poker face, man.
But it didn't come. It came not all at the beginning.
The day before shooting.
It was never felt like that because it was always like, is this coming?
Yeah.
And so it never felt like, oh, we're good. It was,
the whole way. And you probably still need,
we still need a little finishing. But it was Yeah, it was weird.
And so you guys are, I mean, listen, Golden Rut had all what Austin has to offer. Like it had amazing people in it, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's so talented here. And so I'm grateful that you're able to showcase that, right? And so, but again, you're taking more money, so you need to try to find a little bit, you want to get more faces that are recognizable because you're trying to be responsible for your investor. And so what's your guys' process to get to do that?
Okay, magic. Because this is what's crazy. We went and made this character piece.
Yeah.
And
well, you should tell them how that started. Because Eliane, because that was the one thing we did feel like this script had a little more, was better. And so people started reading, they were like, wow, this is really good. So this girl, Eliane Finn, who she ended up being one of the DPs.
No, I don't.
But she read it and she was like, y'all, this, because we were going to do it the same way as the Golden Rut. No, like just me on, or just like, it was gonna be like no crew.
Right.
Yeah, just
and that comes out of just impatience, right? Just like we got to make something.
Yeah, impatience, and also I think like
also so hard to raise money.
Yeah. It's so hard.
And also maybe a little comp of like, hey, we don't know if these people really want to be a part of this. Like, maybe. But she was like, this is really good. Y'all can get a great crew. And she's like, just think about, there's people that are dying to do indie film. They've been working on commercials, and if you get 10 of them that are all really good, that might go further than 20 people who are coming right out of college. So that was the beginning of, she's like, y'all should go shoot something. And I was like, man, once we shoot something, I know we're not going to stop. Yeah. But we did. We went shoot the first scene, and then we went to Louisiana, we shot it. And then we just kept shooting stuff and shooting. And we really were like, for a month and a half, just shooting, editing. And then we finally had this 10-minute piece that everyone started to be like, well, y'all are really onto something. Like, this was really
Is that the thing I watched, or...
Did you watch the
I think the first act. No, I watched the first act.
No, you didn't see. Yeah, because this had like people in Louisiana.
Okay. Yeah. This had Jim. This had everybody.
It was even earlier.
Like
it's a whole nother piece that is a really cool piece, and my daughter's in it. My mom's. We just put like all our
right.
But we always did write this role for my daughter because she was like, Dad, I want to be in a movie with you and sing. Like, y'all are making movies. I want to do something, and she's always been a singer, so. We had her in it to see if she could act, and so everyone was like, "Hey, y'all, this is really," and they're like, "Nick, this is such a personal story. I really think you should do it." And I had a lot of good directors tell me that, and then Josh, and then our producers, and I was like, "All right, I guess I do need to do it."
Yeah. Well, if it blows up, and then you become a valuable, famous actor, you can get your shit made.
Right. That's what we're banking on.
Yeah, you're banking on. And so you guys are now. Then you have this piece, and you're going out. Or what's the casting process?
So
you write with people in mind? Or?
We wrote with a couple people in mind, like Jimmy and Stephanie, and then we started.
Was Jimmy a part of the reading it or like process?
No.
Okay.
No.
Jimmy, I called early on. He was like very busy. He's like, y'all are gonna direct this thing, and I was like, yeah. He's like, all right. He's like, I'm trying to write this thing. He's like, I don't know, just keep me posted. And it was, and when we sent Jimmy that 10-minute thing. That's the other thing. It's so interesting when people like hear ideas or read the script versus see. Jimmy was like, guys, y'all are really onto something. This is amazing. Like, he's like, I love this character. And I was like, all right, wow. And so that was another, is just
seeing it.
Seeing the music.
Jimmy telling you he didn't read it.
I know, right? He didn't read it.
I mean, but it is easier to get people to watch a 3-minute thing. Way easier.
I know. And then we sent it to Miranda, and she showed it to Gabe Luna. So Gabe was like, "Yo, this is great. Where's my part?" And we were like, "Really?"
We're like, "We're gonna hold you on to it." Yeah.
Yeah. So and then the magic of what happened was like right before we started shooting, SAG striked.
Yeah.
And we got an interim agreement.
Yeah.
So we were one of 40 films who did that. So then Jimmy wasn't working. Gabe wasn't working.
Everybody's sitting around. Yeah.
Adrian Palicki wasn't working.
But early on, so we had Morgan was always going to be a part of our producer, and so Morgan was like, "I'm coming to town." She's like, "I'm coming to town June 20th." We set a date. We still didn't have all the money, but she came, packed up our stuff, got someone to sit her cats, and was like, "I'm coming to town June 20th from Santa Fe." And then Jennifer Kuchai, the other producer, was like, I have so many things going on, but like, I think I love this. I want to help. And then it just so happened like her kids were at camp and she had a window. So all four of us were like, we're going to do it. So early, we were friends with Sarah Dowling. So early on, she was like, "Hey, y'all, I love this script. I want to start sending it to people." So we're like, okay.
That's awesome.
I know. So, and we were like, man, are we even ready to do that yet? Like, we're still, figuring out. And so she started sending tapes in, and we watched a lot of tapes.
Yeah.
But we also Morgan was always like, "Make y'all's decision." And we were really like, just kind of patient in a way. Cause we also did this thing where we shot we'd shoot like a 3-day week or a 4-day week, take a break, like shoot 3 days the next week, shoot a 6-day week. But it was this long, like 2-month shoot.
Yeah.
And so we would like kind of wait.
Some days we'd shoot one scene.
Right. Working with people's schedules or locations.
It was that, but it was also that like some days we just have a 2-person crew or a 3-person crew. So it made it really easy where you could have the excuse of being like, all right, we don't need to shoot.
One if it was just you or one other person.
Right.
Yeah. And we had a cool thing where we had these our 2 DPs. We were like, y'all, we are going to shoot. We all have this time, but we were like, would y'all be down to maybe like, because we can't pause if one of y'all get a commercial unavailable. Would y'all be down to like share credit or something? And they had worked together, so they were cool with that. So we'd have like different DPs, different.
You're not paying them that well.
No,
I know.
Like there's probably 10 days of them not even being there. You know what I mean?
But they're really good. So just the fact that they helped us set the look.
Yeah.
And Josh is a really good DP too. But they were like, he was like, I'll do the whole thing. I'm like, dude, you have a 1.5-year-old. Like you cannot. Yeah. Like I have 2 kids.
Also, they're just way better than I am, and so I mean,
so you get to learn a lot.
Yeah, I get to learn a lot with that.
Like when we made Golden Rut, I had a 4-year-old and not even in kindergarten. He wasn't even married. Yeah. We were so spent afterwards that we tried to do this in a much more like way to respect our families and be like, hey, we cannot just lose our minds on this.
Which is interesting, right? Which is like is a good, healthy example of it can be done. It doesn't have to be 18-hour days.
No,
right.
Days,
8 days a week.
No,
grind
right.
it. Yeah,
I know. But back to casting.
So European of you guys.
Yeah, it's very European. We also
you're
shot
basically
it.
European filmmaker.
We were European.
Like that's our
You shot Sellout on like a $2,000 camera too. You know what I mean? Like it's not. We were like, let's make this as easy as possible on ourselves, so that whenever like everyone is done and we can't pay any more people, Nick and I can just go out and keep shooting and filling in the story where we need to.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of what we've been doing.
It was a
trying to make it a little foolproof.
Okay.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
And it was a dream European. Like I'm like, how do we do that again?
Yeah.
Because it just gave us room to breathe.
I mean, there's the stories too of like, they shot for 7 hours. They all had dinner together.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if you're not taking that much money, right, and you're not burning like $100,000 a day, it seems like you could.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and I'm constantly thinking, how do we rework it? Because it's so in the indie world, it's just like, it's such a risk. Yeah. You're most likely not going to see the money back. And so it's like, how do we get to make inspiring stories? But the stories are always better, it seems, for the most part, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have people looking at you as a marketing, like how are we going to, you need to shoot for marketing.
Right.
So it's just like, I mean, maybe you guys are onto something.
Well, the hope is because we had 2 cameras and we really, when actors came, we're like, let's let them act. Let's not let them come here. We have them for a day or 2. Let's not make them sit in a room and just while we light stuff. Like so we had everything
pre-lit.
And so we let them act. They all seem to have a really good time.
We kind of used like 3 lights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On Sellout. I was like, all right, we're going to keep this minimal.
But also early on, I had a friend that was like, write. You need to write as an indie filmmaker, write for, day scenes, write for open.
I was going to ask. So you guys, when you were writing, you're like, hey, let's think about this.
Yeah. And literally wrote 2 that was like, hey, let's write where he goes here, but she can't come for some reason because then we don't have to have her there as long.
Right.
So like we did, that is I guess, being writers for so long, we do write specifically to make it easier on ourselves and make it look better.
Yeah, for sure.
Which pays off.
I mean, like the pool scene at Bill Wise's house, it's it's exclusive.
Right.
Not everyone's invited.
Right.
It's a very small, small gathering.
Totally.
Yeah.
Small wedding.
Yeah.
But, and then I was going to say back to casting though, but so we also went around we went to Marco's class first off, and then we would like have all the actors read scenes from our script, which was so helpful.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. Yeah. Like,
do you guys, I mean, so like table reads, right? I have a problem with table reads because I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, this is weird.
It's
like,
hard.
It's hard, right?
It's so hard.
But I guess but doing it where people are actually trying to put it up on its feet, that seems helpful.
Yes.
We've kind of slowed down on our table reads.
Like, what's the point?
We used to do so many.
Because so many.
It's got to come from like studio days or something, right? Where it's just like, it's like carried over.
Yeah. But we did do one and it was helpful just to give us a little more confidence in the movie. But I was anxious about it because I was like, why do a table read? What if because usually people just all have ideas and comments and are like, do this, do this, do this. And so.
But it's not, it's like, what are we doing? We're reading.
I know.
It's a read.
Right.
And it's like, I don't,
it's going to be
I don't know what I walk away with them ever.
I'm
like, what did I get out of that? Other than like, this thing reads weird.
And it's like I was listening to it. It's funny.
But it shouldn't be read.
I know. It's like, it's not, and you're never really rehearsing it, And so, but I do remember I was driving to set and it was like the day before shooting, and I was listening to a master class. I can't remember who, some director, and he was talking about table reads, and he was saying like all it takes is one bad actor to ruin the whole entire table read, and then the morale drops. And I'm like driving to the table read.
Yeah,
like,
it was
start
freaky.
shooting tomorrow. Like this could be really bad.
And then there's the one guy that gets stuck with the narration.
Right.
It's like
it's very dangerous. Like because we do like to have like we learn like we're lucky we have some great friends that are like great writers. So we'll let like a few people read our scripts because everyone has ideas.
Well, that's the other thing I say too, because people are sometimes amazed when they say, "Did you read the script?" I go, "Yeah, it says great."
Yeah.
Like, "Will you have any notes?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
Like, it's great.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, because what happens is you tell them to read it, they think they have to give you notes.
Right.
And it doesn't mean those notes are any fucking good.
Right. I know.
And then you guys are like, "Oh, so-and-so told me this," and you're changing shit.
It can hurt you more.
Yeah.
And Morgan was awesome. Morgan Pollitt was like, "This is great." She's like, "I feel like this is a script y'all have been trying to write for 10 years. And so me and Josh were like, "Well, maybe we should change this or this." She's like, "Just hold on. Like, just this will all work itself out." Like we had worked on the script a lot, but like at some point you have to go. Because if not, we could still be rewriting.
Keep rewriting.
We could still
and
be
that's
writing.
what we end up doing on set anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
So she was like, just go focus on raising the money and other stuff. Like, don't get back into a writing hole. So that was that's an interesting spot to know when to jump off and be like, hey,
for sure.
And not that but like, and then we pick it up down the road. Like we did some rewriting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys I work with do that. Like they're writing on set and they're changing things.
Totally. But at some point you need to put it down and try to raise the money and try to get people involved.
Made, yeah.
Because we've ridden a lot of years. We've just ridden. And
I mean, that also though is huge. I think in that Muscle Strong because it comes across on screen for sure. That you guys are you know your tone. You know your guys' like comedy. and it's subtle. It's nice and it's intelligent.
But we are very steeped in classical, like all those Billy Wilder comedies.
Yeah.
Preston Sturges and Cap.
Yeah,
all the
there's
same
a 70s vibe for you guys.
Yeah,
we love all that.
And the set. Yeah, but
I was gonna say also for casting because I know this is about casting too. I was gonna say we went
supposed to be.
We went to improv. We went to Old Town, and that's where we found an actress, Sid, who plays plays the girlfriend.
Okay,
and then also Dave.
Jonathan's awesome.
Jonathan's awesome. Like
he's got nice abs. Jonathan.
Yeah, nice abs, Jonathan.
But no, we did. We went to
incredible abs.
We couldn't find the fiance. Yeah, we like just started going, and I'd never really.
My kids go to Cold Town. It's awesome.
Do they?
Really?
Yeah. It's so cool.
Great.
And this we found a couple of actors from Cold Town. The improv scene is so good.
It's so good here.
Yeah.
And the comedy and improv scene just blown up.
So
now.
good.
And she was so good. And then we did some tests with her just to see if that would work and like kind of tweak the character. And that was a cool experience because I feel like that was that role she plays of like the fiance is such a hard role you have to be like, what would you say, like likable but not likable?
Yeah,
I mean it's such a hard role.
That's hard to cast.
She's playing an influencer, and it's somewhat superficial, but you don't want to think that the lead character is superficial because she's with a superficial person. So she has to have some depth or like some element where they bond and connect on that feels deeper.
But it was a cool experience because she was like. She has a day job and she's just at improv and it's
there's
like,
a lot of people in Austin that are like that, right? They're
yeah.
just like they're not like as in the Golden Rut. They're just like I just do it because I like to.
Yeah. But she's like she's in the scenes with Gabe Luna and she held her own. You know what I mean? Like she's great. She's really good.
But it felt so cool. I was like, she was just doing what she does for like her hobby or for she loves acting, but she was just on there and we happened to be there that night and see her and was like we got and so now I bet she'll pursue. I bet she'll get. I think she already maybe got another role and stuff.
And that happens a lot to people. They get the bug and then
But it's funny. It was also funny because like our mom is in this one and she's in all these scenes with Adrian Palicki and she luckily didn't know who Adrian was and she did all these scenes with her and then like after the movie's done shooting, she calls me like 4 times a week to be like, have you seen Friday Night Lights? She's like, holy shit, she is so incredible. Yeah. She's like, thank God I had no clue who I was acting with.
Yeah.
It's like, I know.
And then we wrote the sister for Stephanie, Stephanie Hunt. And we, Stephanie's in a band. She just got married. She's so busy. So we at some point Morgan was like, y'all need to start reading other people because Stephanie, we were having, and we known her forever, but we're like just trying to get a commitment from her, but we kind of kept holding on and like seeing other people. But then we were like prepared to go to her house and like just camp out in front of her house. Like, Stephanie, you have to play this role. But at some point with Heather Collier, we ran into her at Stephanie's wedding and she's like, oh my God, I love this script. Stephanie has to be there. And then, so we just kind of held out till we just kind of like watched tapes and acted like we were thinking of people, but we just held out till she was like, all right, I'm in. And we're like,
I'm going to do it.
Yeah. So there was people like
my phone's going off.
There was a few, I mean, Jimmy was awesome. And that was written. So we had these visions that we tried.
We got Bill Wise in there again.
Yeah.
We try and put Bill in everything.
Yeah.
He's such a gem.
Yeah.
I love Bill.
We got so many. This was a cool thing too, because everyone, like, I mean, all of our friends now that, you know, when we made the Golden Rut, everyone was really struggling actors. A lot of them are like successful actors now.
Gabe and Jimmy and everybody took off.
Yeah, and Olivia's doing great. And so all these,
I mean, when Jimmy got the Miracle movie, I was just so. I mean, he used to run camera for me in New Orleans.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so like I was just like I saw him at Whole Foods and I was like, dude, you fucking did it, man.
I know. Yeah. And then Jimmy, we met in acting class and we put him in our web series, The Fleshlight. Him and Bill Wise, which was for Flesh. It was the Flesh Life. It was for Fleshlight, female sex toy.
Yeah.
It's a comedy about.
Were you guys connected to the people because it's made here, right?
Yeah.
It was a random story.
It was
his
so
film
random.
school guy, but it was tried to make a mainstream, like it played South. It was like part of South by.
Yeah.
It's like a PG-13 comedy. And Jimmy was the star of it.
Yeah, he's so funny. And
it was a long time
Jimmy
ago.
is such a funny actor.
Yeah.
But he's good at drama too. He does so much drama.
He's
one of our favorites.
And so we're always trying to like pull him back into comedy.
Yeah.
And so we were like, dude, like,
which is probably fun for him, right? Because he's probably trying to do heavy lifting.
He's so good at it.
Yeah.
Like he can make
the best
incredible.
He's pulling out with you after you catch, and he's like
waving at
he's so funny. I could watch those two forever.
I could literally watch Jimmy all day doing comedy.
Jimmy and Gabe together were amazing.
Yeah, they're really good
comedy.
together.
But it was cool too, because while we were shooting and had this like kind of European style, all our actors,
your trademark European style.
European
we
style.
got so many people that were like, hey, I want to be in this, like our friends, and we're like, all right, we're like, try to break it to Morgan. We're like, yeah, yo, come on. Like, but we got to put like all of these actors we love, like kept getting to put them in little parts. And it was a cool thing. I was like, wow, that was, I don't know if we'll ever have that experience again, but it was such a cool thing just to put everyone, just like, hey, come out and
play.
Yeah. Come out and play.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so many scenes we had just like, it was me, him, it was like me and two people, and we had a third or a fourth and let them do stuff.
Let them do stuff, I mean, you guys are in that sweet spot, and this is what happens to like, you know, everyone I talk to here. It's like you're in this sweet spot, and then it's the next one where you think, okay, let me take more money, get bigger, and then it's like, something happens with the enjoyment in between this spot and the next one.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to note.
Yeah.
And I feel like
there's something that you guys have right here that's magical, right? Which is like, it's still fun and people want to play. And there's so much pressure.
We got that a lot from actors who were like coming from LA being like, man, it's hard on big sets because you can't improv lines. They got to run it up the chain. Like it's just.
It's not about the acting typically. It's about like, let's stay on schedule. We're burning money, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we have a good, I feel like we have, I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I feel like we have we're big on process. I feel like we have this process where I'm like, I could see how we could replicate this. It would just be about getting a lead actor that would give us the time to like, you know, put in long rehearsals.
Well, hopefully that's one of you guys.
Well, we would like to work with other actors.
No, but if you have value, right, to cover this, but you guys are being smart, man. You're writing for the price.
Yeah.
You're shooting, you know, and it's like, at the end of the day, if the story's there and you capture it, and you can't really tell that you didn't have a ton of money, it's like that's what, and you can start finding your audience. I mean, you guys really like. I believe that there's never been a time where if you can connect with your audience, you can get them to support you. You don't need anybody. You don't need distributors. You don't have to play the game.
That's where we're hoping for. I mean, we'll see now. It's just like everything's shifting so much. I don't know what's going to happen.
Like no one cares my kids don't care where they watch it.
They don't.
They don't like, they're not
just
like
want to watch
theater. They watch it on their phone.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that we still, from an older generation, still think it has to be done a certain way. And I saw something with Scorsese saying, dude, break it open.
Right. I know.
Like, do whatever you want.
Right.
Like, just transform. It's a communal experience, whether it's 1,600 people on a phone or on a, you know? Like, you can shoot with anything. Like, there's never been a time that we've been allowed to just like it can be 15 minutes. It can be 20 minutes.
Right.
If you can connect an audience and they will support you financially, right?
That's true.
You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
Then we can just be European style filmmakers.
We get to shoot 25 days, 30 days.
We just shoot every day. We just show up to a studio, turn on the lights. What do you guys want to do today?
Let's shoot a scene.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do.
The one thing we do love we do love watching like our actor, like people we know are just people we aspire to work with. It is so fun to work with these actors and watch them do this magic that I think they do it, you know, they're at a, I don't know. I mean, I think we do like acting, but not, I don't know. I actually don't even know if I like acting that much, honestly. It's fun. This was a really fun character, but I really,
it suited you great.
It suited me great, but it was hard. But I know that's going to be the balance. Is like we'd like to work with. I mean, it feels like it'd be so nice to just be back there directing and not be the one
for sure.
You know,
yeah.
But I know, but we want to make stuff more than ever, and I think you're right. It's these things we want to talk about, which is like just modern life and how weird it is, you know, and all that.
Life is like tennis. I don't know how to play tennis.
Yeah, you got that. Huh?
Yeah.
And I think that's
it was a crazy story about that is that we've shot that scene.
Yeah.
The artist of that painting let us shoot. We came and checked out her house, and we were going to shoot there, and we put that painting in the movie. And then after we're done shooting, a couple weeks go by, and the East Austin studio tour happens, and my best friend sends me a picture. He didn't even know it, and he bought that painting.
He bought the painting.
That's awesome.
I was like, wow,
that's awesome. Her. Do you have to get the rights from him?
Yeah, we have to get the rights from him now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, I'm excited. I think you guys are in a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Like, I think you guys have a ability to, if we can all get behind it and support it. And I mean, what are the sort of hopes? Is it distribution, or that you guys are able to connect an audience, or what's the plan?
I mean, I think it's always just how do we get it seen as much as we can, and then get to make the next one, because we have a lot of scripts we want to make, and a lot of them already written, but also some are right. But yeah, just to kind of like get to keep doing this, and you know,
we have like 5 ready to go. You know what I mean? Like we're like, okay, but the budgets kind of get bigger and bigger. But you're so right in that, like there is that fine line where I think when the money starts to increase and there's more pressure, there's like imagination, instinct, and craft.
Yeah.
And it's like on this level we're playing at, like you can rely so much on instinct.
Yeah.
Because you're moving so fast in like such a low budget way that it's okay if you fail here and there a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's scarier on a bigger level.
But I think that
it is. And then it's like, I think if you can hold the space, and so many, you know, directors that can do these big budgets and hold that space and still keep it creative and still keep it and not feel that pressure.
Yeah.
But I think that's a hard thing to make, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there's people in places that are there to make you guys feel the pressure. Right.
Yeah. I know.
And I don't think it helps the creative process.
No, I know.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that is the one thing. We've had some good mentors that were like, hey, and also I loved it. It was the guy that, Steven, the one that did the Crazy Art soundtrack. He was like, listen, he's like, when I go in to do a studio session, I'm going to play what they're paying me to play. I'm not going to play Jimi Hendrix. I'm going to play my part. I'd try, and then he's like, and then the next time, hopefully I get a little bit better and maybe go a little bit out of my comfort zone, but they're paying me to be professional. So it's like, so if you just kind of so we try to make movies that we can knock out of the park. So like if we can it's longer, it takes a longer time. It's not as, you know, profitable, and we don't, you know, we're figuring out our financial lives.
Right,
stressful.
right.
It's like, so that's our kind of plan.
It's your
like,
golden rut.
Yeah, it's our goal. But it's like, if we can just keep getting better and manage to pay all the bills and then like, hopefully we can keep that spirit with us and make it on a bigger and bigger level. I don't know if it's possible, but I hope, you know.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it for sure is.
Yeah.
I think it is that if this one does better than the last one, and then you guys, you know, incrementally step up, and you maybe won't feel that transition. You don't go from like this to, you know, the moon. And try to make things that are, you know, that make you guys so nervous to try to pull off.
That's the balance of like, that's the next question. Is like, there's one movie that would be a big jump and does feel a little nerve-wracking, and there's another one I know we could nail. It's just a little bit bigger, but it's like, when are you pushing yourself further, and when are you just being like, no? What are you just kind of growing, taking the right step? That's the kind of hard spot to know.
Yeah, and I mean, what I worry about too is like what the actors from LA that you guys experience were like, man, it's so nice to be like free, you know?
Yeah,
you can keep that vibe.
Yeah, totally. It's
and that's just our vibe too, though. Yeah, I think like that's just kind of what we really, we've never had like an AD we've never really had an AD. Like, where it's just like a blessing and a curse. You know what I mean? Because
it's funny. I mean, the movie's called Sellout. It's very much what we're talking about, right? It's like, you know, did you kind of sell out? And because we've been lucky to try to get the right people, from the like investors to the producers to the, like we're slow with, Yeah, it's almost like we'd rather not have an AD than have the wrong AD because we don't want someone there, hey, gotta move. Like, and some of the scenes were really special because we didn't have an AD. Yeah. And a couple times with our AD, we had to be like, hey, or just like, this is a place for actors to be creative. Like, this is not just a to-do list where we have to get stuff and move.
All our shots and move on.
Yeah. So it's like, hopefully you could.
We did bring in an AD around about halfway through Sellout, my good friend Paul Gavon.
He did a great job.
He's amazing because he was just like, he's so good at like having this like demanding, like authoritative voice and like getting things moving, So
he got it.
It was helpful.
He got it.
We were also like, we're not paying people enough to yell at him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, let's chill out.
We just have to tell him a few times, like, hey, this is really an actor's first thing, and
he's an artist though. He's such an artist that he he can go back and forth.
Whatever, he did a great job. And then it's almost like we're almost telling we're gonna have to find a great AD one day, but it's like almost telling them to not do their jobs. Hey, like keep us on track, but let us explore.
So much of directing too is like creating that atmosphere where you're like, okay, let's rehearse, let's clear the room, let's make sure that you're not, why are you in their eye line? Like you have to tell people, like, get out of your, you're texting on your phone with those actors, like, get out of the room.
Right.
You're just trying to create a safe space for the actors.
For them to create,
Yeah.
No, that's what, I mean, I've always been like, nobody sees anything behind the camera in a movie, right?
Right.
They just see the frame, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like all the concerns is about everybody, and then it's like, okay, go do the thing.
Right.
Come on, we got to move. Let's go.
Yeah, we're running late. Like, do the scene. And you're just like,
we got wardrobe. We got this thing, and we got this thing. We got this thing and this thing, and you're like, but this is the thing.
This is it.
This is it. This is what's gonna make the money.
I know.
And you guys are like, let's go.
Yeah,
I know.
And it's crazy because there's some balance because like sometimes you're like, we're losing light, and then you're just like pushing everyone, and then things are moving really fast and really well, and you're like, God, we could probably move the whole day at that speed.
Right.
But then you're like whatever that balance is, I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet. Like that's really hard to.
But a lot of days because we got so many locations and
I think we might burn out if we did that.
Yeah, a lot of days we got so many locations that we were like just donated or what, but we were like, hey, you have to be out of here at X amount of time. Yeah. So there was a natural like, hey, if we want to get all this stuff, we need to move.
Yeah.
But there's a. I know that's where our.
So what's we're gonna wrap it up. What is the timeline for Sellout?
So I think we're getting close to having the cut done.
Okay,
first cut, yeah.
Yeah, we've been editing. Our editing process is long because we assemble everything. We assemble both cameras, all the comedy, all the jokes.
all the jokes. So it's like a 3-hour cut.
Yeah.
And you're like,
and so now
you guys don't make anyone watch that, right?
No.
Okay,
no.
good. That's not.
Yeah. And then
I've been to those, and I'm like, dude, could you get a little bit further down?
We had our friend Mario who helps. He did the music.
He watched
Golden
the first
Rut,
act,
and he's going to do the music with us on this.
I mean, the first act moved quick.
It did, right?
That we just got tight. That we cut. We cut 9 minutes out of that. And
I felt like it was like almost. I mean,
that was a hard act to get. The first act is like so much is happening. You're setting up the character, and then he gets to Louisiana, and he really is just
slows down.
It's like you really sink into like. Another kind of like a little more philosophy and a little more just questioning things.
Okay.
So, but I'm glad that first act was hard to get. But we're really
good.
It was an hour long. We got it down to 30 minutes.
Yeah. No, it's good. And then it'll be interesting to see that shift happen.
Yeah,
there.
It's a cool shift, and it kind of slows down with the pace of Louisiana. And you see a lot of it. But so we're hoping to get it. We're hoping to probably in the next month.
February 21st is we were going to try to submit to Tribeca, which is February 21st.
Yeah.
And then start working on the music. We just have temp music right now.
Yeah.
But we played that festival a long time ago in like a short we did, and just it was a cool festival. So it seems like
Tribeca's good.
Yeah, it seems like a cool. Just the timing works out too. Yeah. Like that'd be the movie.
I guess it could see New Yorkers liking it.
Yeah. There could be I would hope.
It feels like. Because it's a southern film, it could be kind of fun to watch from if you're in the north.
But it has a little bit of a
writer,
the writer,
and he's pretty much a bleeding liberal. You know what I mean? Like throughout the movie. So
he's an extension of the yoga.
Yeah, totally.
The yoga guy.
Totally.
You're right.
It's just like it's the yoga guy.
Exactly. He decided to start writing, and then.
Well, you don't understand that you guys are doing a series.
Exactly.
No, we didn't.
It's all one series throughout all of it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys coming, man.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah.
This was really fun.
Great conversation.
I know. I could keep going for days.
I know.
Our show today was recorded in studio by the good folks at Record ATX. Check them out at recordatx.com. Our theme music is produced by Jonathan Price. You can check out some of the sounds he makes with his project, The Mid-Cities, on Spotify. Follow, subscribe, and smash that like button if you see one. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.